Thompson Productions.
We hate men.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. Tyler Yonke. Saturday evening. For me, it's 7:22 Pacific p.m. Hope everyone out there is doing fine. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. I didn't do a show yesterday, partly because I went golfing. I hope that's all okay with everybody. We have some people here, Pseudo Snarks in there. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. A little, okay. Tyler's drunk. No, not yet. Let's wait for this. Neural MD, is it Nyrina LMD? I can't do your thing, but thank you for being here, even after our disagreements last week. Curtis says, good evening, Tyler. Tyler's not drunk, Laney. So welcome, everybody. But we can start on that. How'd you hit him? Curtis, I appreciate that question. I don't know, my brother-in-law keeps saying I took like 15 years off of golf. I didn't take that long, but it's been, last 5 years, I haven't really done anything with it. And so I'm back into it. And, I shoot in the 80s. And it's disappointing because I used to play better than that, but I've got to get my ass together. So anyway, it was a 42-42 expedition. It wasn't all that great for me, but I'm back getting in there and I'm enjoying it. That was my Friday afternoon. Don't always get to do that. I will once again be doing that actually probably tomorrow as well. It's NY Renal MD. I don't know. Let's say Nyren AL or anal. I don't know. Okay. Is that New York or NY? I don't know what the NY is. Renal MD. I think it's an eye doctor. I appreciate that. I'll take 84s all day. Yeah. Okay. I am with you. I mean, it's a nice place we play, but anyway, I appreciate you asking. This morning I got up and my wife were getting it because this is what happens when you get older. We're playing pickleball. So we went out, just the two of us this morning. We have some nice pickleball, public courts around here. And we got out there at 7 and left at 9. So we were out there for 2 hours playing, and I'm my legs. It's good for me though. I'm trying to, do all these little things here to make it so we can participate in life a little bit better and feel good. Okay. Either way, so I thought I would do a quick show today. I don't know even how quick it is, but I appreciate you all being there. Here is the, there you go. Mental disorders. So we have Biden, Sam Harris, Nick Rekieta, but we have more than just that. So let me take a look. Here's my sheet, what I thought I would go over real quick. And by the way, I want you to know, if you guys like Pete Quinones, go check out his show if you don't like him. I did a Leo Frank series with him. And when I did that, we did like 3 shows with him. I think one I did solo. And then he just put it all together in one long episode. So he just re-released it. I think that's really good. I've been working on additional stuff with the Leo Frank thing. And I just ordered a new book today. And I'm going to go and start, because there's some conspiracy stuff that I want to get into. And it has to do with the KKK and some of the accusations in there. And I've done a little bit of a history dive into the KKK. There's 3 waves of it. And we'll talk about those. And I want to, tie them into this. And then I think is what else I'm going to do, because there were 13 trials/appeals in the Leo Frank case, and I'm going to walk through. We talked about the main trial, and I think I'm going to do an episode. Maybe I'll reach out to Pete and see if he wants to join me in doing this, and he's to do it on his show, of breaking down the legal. Each one of those legal cases, because some are super easy, but it would be interesting to kind of do just the legal aspect of it. If he's not, or maybe it'd be better if I just did those on my own. We will see, but that is one thing I think I will look at. Okay, let's get back here. I'm sorry, I had the chat here. Band Photoshop said you should try Voodoo Ranger. You don't think I've tried Voodoo Ranger? Of course I have. Yeah, Voodoo is that. It's Deschutes or New Belgium Brewery? I think it's New Belgium Brewery. But yeah, I have tried Voodoo Ranger. Reed Hart says Toad. Let's talk about, I did Toad last week, the mentally disabled. Some people, said, look, what do you expect from this to have? Okay, I get all that. But we did a little bit of a breakdown. Do I think Toad has a legal chance of a lawsuit? Not much of one. The more I've dug into the state of Massachusetts, it's difficult to have, because you're basically, it's not a wrongful termination suit. It's wrongful termination in violation of his civil rights. That's how you would have to do it. And so he would have to do this with the federal or state if they have, rights that. And is he disabled? I mean, he's very autistic, maybe. But then it is, if your employer didn't know about it and they didn't give it a chance to do proper accommodations, then you really don't have much of a leeway as this as well. Anyway, the state of Massachusetts just isn't quite as friendly, my interpretation of that, as the state of California, which you can actually say for political reasons, if you're getting fired, you have some recourse for that. Space Dust 2 gets me toasty only when I drink a few. Yeah, Space Dust is pretty good. My go-to is used to be Two-Hearted when I used to drink. Two-Hearted. I don't know what that is. It's probably something I couldn't handle though, Laney. Our buddy Dickie Walnuts, the first Tower Gang producer, he wasn't very good. No, he's young. And by the way, the idea that I have as a producer for a show like that is probably different than what he had. He wanted to be, I think, on the show, kind of in the mix there, doing some things. Then they had David, who was a little too young for what was going on, possibly illegality of even having him on the stream. And then you have me, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know, but I would love to be in with all these guys. It's a little bit more removed. If they paid me like they do Laney, maybe I'd make a little bit of effort on this. I don't know. So anyway, Dickie and I used to do a beer review, and it was pretty lame because I don't know much. I just let me see, does this taste okay? This is Firestone Walker. It's from close to Morro Bay down there in California. Okay, enough about that. Here's my topics. Biden mental state. Remember, he also came out and he has cancer now as well. The terrorist killings in D.C. and how they are sparking more calls for speech codes. We'll talk about that. Nick Rekieta body cam update. Okay, so Nye Renal MD. I think you were a fan of the Nick Rekieta stuff. We will talk a little bit about that. And then Nancy Mace shows all. That bitch is crazy. So this theme, I mean, because what it is here, yeah, Toad is also, but there's a lot of mental disorders. Okay, there's a lot of mental disorders in politics and up and around there, and even the people that bring you the shows. Am I one of those? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty healthy. And by the way, I would also say go to our Substack, tyleryonkey.com/Substack. I believe that's what it is. I don't know if that's what it is. Let's take a look here. I'm going to. It's in the description of this show right now. So if I go here, I will take a look. Dun, da, da, da. Maybe someone else can shout it out even. What is it here? It is, tyleryonkey.substack.com. There you go. tyleryonkey.substack.com. Go there. I just did a little post about marriage, prenuptial agreements, marriage, some advice. So with that, I don't think I'm mentally deranged. I think I'm pretty sane and good stuff going on, partly because I have a really good wife with on my side. Let's start out with this though. This wasn't on the menu yet. I wanted to play it because it's going around. Andrew Wilson, he famously had a debate with Dave Smith recently. I guess they were on the show together, and I kind of took it apart because they were both talking about family law, and neither one knew what they were talking about, throwing out all kinds of statistics and things that were just wrong, a lot of assumptions. And I did break that one down, and sorry, Dave, and maybe that's why Dave hasn't been coming back to me in the DMs like he used to. Or bring me on your show, then we'll talk about family law stuff. I'm a practitioner of that. I've been through it myself. I do it on a daily basis. Anyway, that's now he's sober. Yeah, it's so. I'm not drunk, Jose. I don't drink. I don't drink and drive my show. Smooth. All right, let's play a little clip of this because this our buddy Raven has been taking on Andrew. But this is the reason why. This is posted on someone else's show. I'm not going to play this whole 11 minutes, but this is fantastic.
Like I gotta have a way to grip it.
Jungle.
Andrew, I'm sorry. It's not.
My fingers slip right off the lid. Try it. No, you f***er. That was bullshit.
All right, so in this video we have Andrew Wilson, who's like a red pill manosphere guy, who's mostly known for his appearances on the Whatever podcast, which is like a Fresh and Fit knockoff. They have some real high level conversations on there.
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. How
What do you mean?
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
How I feel right now because I didn't eat breakfast this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Spelled weird correctly. You were wrong.
No, he didn't.
I before E except after.
And not for weird. It's an exception in the English language.
It's WEI? It's weird?
You are
really?
I promise.
Are you sure?
I promise.
Are you
Dennis Nedley
sure?
donated $30.
Are you positive?
Holy shit.
How come it sounded like weird?
And Andrew's also the guy that caused Wes Watson to throw a temper tantrum at that Fresh and Fit event, which was pretty much the start of Wes's downward spiral. So Andrew defeated Wes, but then almost exactly a year later, Andrew was defeated by a jar of pickles. So Wes is probably thinking this is the funniest thing ever.
You got 10-inch arms.
Let me give a little context, which is, let's see if we get here. Okay, so this girl has this jar of pickles that she can't open. Okay, so,
got a pickle jar.
And by the way, if you watch I just saw a clip of this the other day, which is this girl, he's just destroying her on womanhood and feminism, and he's a man. I don't know that I have much against Andrew at all, but this is just hilarious.
Which is a risky move. Andrew knew it too. After the girl tried and she couldn't do it, she slides it over to him, and it startles him a little bit. The poor guy already looks intimidated.
Because we've all been there with a jar. Now, I have this rubber thing. It's like just a doily looking thing. It's rubber, and and the jar is hard to open. So it's been difficult times. You get that, you get a good grip, and sometimes you have to put it in hot water under there on the tap, and then maybe hit it a little bit with a knife. Something heavy just to kind of tap it to pop that, and then you can open it. I've had some difficulties with the jar of pickles or whatnot. So this is fascinating because if someone slid that over to me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, bitch, let's see this. But in my mind, I'd be like, I hope it's not one of those. I hope it's not one of those jars. It's kind of been sitting around a bit. Okay, maybe some hot, cold, really contractions. Constriction, expansion, where it's tightened itself in there and got those juices. I'd be a little worried. So I get it. But also, I'm not going on a podcast with a bunch of whores. And I by the way, when I played the Dave Smith, Andrew, because Andrew went on his show. They did a debate elsewhere, and I don't think it went well. I didn't really listen to it. And then Andrew came on his show, and he went on his, and it was kind of the mix. They did a crossover or put it out to both their platforms. And he made some comment, Dave did, about like, yeah, but all you do is just, you go on these, what's your point about something? He's like, you just go on this show and you just like trash these skank women. What does that do for anybody? And I'm in agreement with that.
And then he's like, wait, I'm supposed to open it? He already sounds worried. And when the host says yes, he's like, oh, geez. So opening a pickle jar, it's a scary task, even for the most masculine men out there.
Oh my God. I guess, yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar?
It's like yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I do. This seems a little immature now.
And the cope starts right away, which was the most embarrassing part. Like, he kept complaining about it being greasy, and then he wipes it all off with paper towels, and he still complains about not being able to grip it. And then afterwards, his wife had to come out and defend him and reassure everyone that he can actually open pickle jars, and he does it all the time. And it's just even more embarrassing the fact that she felt like she needed to say this stuff. You know, it's like she knew his masculinity was on the line. Like, she also said Andrew heroically ran off armed intruders during a home invasion. He picked up her 230-pound dad to get him into an ambulance faster when he's dying on their front lawn. And he also knocked out a guy with an open palm.
Okay, I think I'm done with this. Because is this true? Am I getting roasted in here? It's doubled up because I think I have two open icon. Anyway, but Jose, there's no need for excuses. There's no jar in front of you. Yeah, there's no jar in front of me. So, I get what you're saying. He's like, look, I don't have to prove it. I'm just saying, I've been there, okay? My wife, we were just talking about this tonight. She's into canning now, okay? I grew up with a grandmother and my mother who did a ton of canning, okay? And sometimes when you do canning and then you put the seal and you think, or you just have other jars, you know, there was a lot of these jars that you just were having to open, and sometimes they're fucking tough. That's all I'm saying. I'm not giving Andrew a pass, because this is my point on this too, which is I'm not going on a show trying to one-up women. I'm on my own show one-upping women, but I'm not having them come on here. Have you ever seen a female on this show? There's been one that I can think of, okay? One, and I'm not even gonna say who that was, Meredith. Okay, but she came in here with Andy, and we talked legal stuff. So my point is, I don't have some woman coming on here and, you know, belittling them all the time, which is perfectly fine, but these women put themselves in these same situations. Anyway, blame the wife for putting out so much. He needs to whack it more. Tyler must use wrist wraps to hold onto his bike. By the way, the wrist wraps, shitty grip strength. I'm sorry, I do not have shitty grip strength at all. These are manly hands here. I do a lot of work. But yeah, I don't think I've been defeated by a jar of pickles. I've always got it open. Sometimes you have to use other means, though. Okay, just saying here. What the fuck, Jose? Leave me alone. Okay. Let's go on to our next thing, which is Nancy Mace. This was her giving her little spiel on Twitter here, and then we'll talk about. So this is what she wrote: "Real men guard women's privacy. Predators harvest it. In my oversight hearing today, I'm going to expose predator and rapist Patrick Bryant for the monster he is, with evidence: naked bodies, legs spread apart, upskirt photos, the kind of things he would film." Anyway, let's just go here.
What that guy did to dozens of women hidden on a hidden camera and other devices as he recorded them with impunity, without their knowledge, without their permission, and without their consent. Patrick Bryant, I hope you're ready. I'm also going to be sharing some of the imagery that Patrick Bryant, that guy right there, took of myself and other women without our knowledge, without our permission, and without our consent. Naked bodies, women's legs spread apart, different genital areas.
Which ones?
And he had a catalog almost of these different fetishes of what types of videos and photos he liked to capture of women without their knowledge. I'll go over that too. I'm also going to be going over some of the bills that I've worked on, particularly on voyeurism. The Sue Voyeurs Act and the Stop Voyeurs Act. Those bills were born out of the videos I saw of myself and many other women, because this is not about me. I'm fighting for their rights. We have 3 witnesses coming in today, and I hope that you'll tune in.
Are they all going to show their bodies and spread for us? Nancy be the kind of broad that opens a jar or two and then never lets you forget about it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you talk about. So what's fascinating to this, if you're watching this and you're litigious or you think about things like I do, the first thing you might want to think of is like, whoa, what is this guy a convicted rapist? Are you just defaming him? We'll get to some of that, but it is interesting. One, if you've seen Nancy, she puts out photos of herself all the time. There's a photo that she's put out, I believe I put a photo out, where she's in a bikini in a hot tub, and it looks fairly good. Okay, so she puts out a lot of these thirst trap photos out there, and I'm like, stop voyeurism by stopping to be a voyeur, I guess, putting all these pictures out. Now, What she's really talking about is peeping Tom type of stuff. And we'll look at this. And is it necessary for her to be going about putting up some new law? Is there not a law in place? I mean, if she says he raped her and filmed her without her consent, that there's some already rape is typically against the law in most places. Revenge porn is another. Invasion of privacy. There's all kinds of other things that you've got going on here. Now, if he's filming you and keeping these photos and not using them for anything, I don't know. How do you even know that that's the case? So there you go. She can open it with no hands. Maybe we'll have that video today. Nancy is Congressional Amber Heard. I think so. Who is this woman? Mind her. This is Nancy Mace. She's a congresswoman, and she's going to show us her naked body on the floor. Okay, so that was her post there. Let's see. Today, I'm going there, she says. Oh, I don't think we have the right one for there. I'm going there. Today, I will show my naked body on the videos predator and rapist Patrick Bryant took of me and many other women without our knowledge, without our permission, and without our consent. Seems like you might be able to get some law where you live that would already be in place for this. Why do you need another one? He stripped his victims of their dignity, their privacy, and their liberty. I don't know about liberty. He meticulously organized and categorized these images. I mean, how autistic is this guy? He's got a file and he's taking care of it and he's curating it. He's making it. I mean, how did he categorize it? Was it just by name? Was it by body type? We don't know these kind of things. But he was meticulous about it. And he stored these images of all these women for years without telling them. Okay. He still walks free. No accountability, no jail, no restitution for his victims, nothing. Now, if he's videoing them and they don't know about it, it's the tree in the forest, if it falls and no one's there, does anybody hear it? Is there really a victim? Okay, I'm being a little facetious. There probably is. He's still free to rape and film without consequence. My bills will hold predators and rapists like Patrick Bryant accountable. I will hold the line for women and victims everywhere with every fiber of my being. Okay, well, let's get to the video. I mean, let's not waste not, want not. And here you go. So here's kind of the seminal part. Let's start it in 32 minutes in because nothing happened before that.
Behind me is a screenshot from one of the videos I found of myself. The yellow circle, this naked silhouette, is my naked body.
It's blurred out.
I didn't know that I had been filmed. I didn't give my consent. I didn't give my permission. And this particular video that Patrick Bryant recorded of me on his secret camera, he saved for over 3 years.
Okay, my first question would be, whose house is this? Okay, is it his house? Does he have a duty to disclose that he has cameras in this house? Possibly. Okay, but if it's your house, then I really have a problem, and there's criminal aspects to that. Maybe he hasn't been prosecuted because it's his own house, and he has the right to have security cameras up. Okay, I don't know.
Without my knowledge. I didn't pick this fight. I don't even want to be here today and discuss this.
I did, bet you
But
do.
because he's still roaming around South Carolina free, filming whatever genital parts he wants because no one has held him accountable. He's not in jail. He's not had to pay a fine, no restitution. He's able to rape other women, film them. And when I discovered this video, I discovered that he utilized up to 4 potential devices, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were more. I was filmed in secret. The camera sat silent, yet it screened my safety was negotiable and my dignity disposable.
Okay.
All right, this is an image of Patrick Bryant and the co-owner of that property trying to lick his face.
Okay. There you go. Co-owner of that property. So she's at, I don't know if she's with him. I mean, let's be honest. There's a few scenarios because she's not giving us a lot of details. One thing we know is he hasn't been prosecuted, okay? So if these accusations are true, prosecutors, especially her, high profile, I think, you would go forward with them. It's someone else's property. Now, did she rent it as an Airbnb and he wasn't there? Okay, that's a problem. You probably shouldn't be filming people that you're renting. It's out to be like a camera in a hotel room or whatever. But is she there with him? These are these are some important
It
questions.
says a lot about a man's character and what he was doing behind the scenes.
Wait. Let's play this. She's showing this picture. His tongue's out.
I think it says a lot about a man's character
sorry.
of that property, trying to lick his face. I think it says a lot about a man's character and what he was doing behind the scenes.
I mean, come on. This is here's a picture of 4 dudes goofing off, trying to lick the other face. I mean, we have worse pictures of that of Tower Gang. That doesn't mean he's a rapist, though. I mean, I'm sorry to laugh here if she was truly raped.
I'm going to show, and I'm going to ask unanimous consent to enter it into the record, is the property where many women were filmed.
Okay, now it's
this is the property where I found this hidden camera. Another device, at least one other device, was used here to film women without their knowledge, without their permission, without their consent. This was on the Isle of Palms in South Carolina.
Were you with him, or did you rent it?
On this one particular camera that I was filmed on and other women were filmed on, I found that there were at least 10,633 videos just on this one recording device. I'm going to request unanimous consent to enter this into the record. Now, I was given legal access to his device, by the way, on November 5th, 2023, which is where I started to find all these things. This is a screenshot that illustrates that in the hours and days after I was granted legal access to his phone, he used an app called Samsung Smart Switch Mobile to transfer files, videos, photos, images off of his device and onto another device. On the same day that I was given legal access to his phone, I found a second mobile device. It was the tiramisu.
Okay, Magoo's, you stole my thunder, which is stop using congressional time to air out personal grievances. That's exactly what this is, okay? That's exactly what this is. Otherwise, you might reference, you're not gonna enter, I mean, is this law specifically for this guy? You might have a problem with that. I don't think you can do, what is it? It's not it's a bill of attainder type of thing, but specific, passing a law specifically for a person. Now, it's obviously going to be much more broad, but that's what you're trying to do, I imagine, with this guy, pass a law that, well, then it would be an ex post fast, was it? What's the law that, goes into effect after and you can't prosecute if it wasn't in time? So that is, she's just doing this. I mean, otherwise you're not going to be presenting your own case about this. And there's a lot of facts missing here, okay? There's just a lot of facts we don't know.
Operating system, I have a screenshot of that. I forgot to print it off today. But I saw a second device hit our Wi-Fi. And then I see that there are files being transferred. Turns out, we believe there were terabytes and terabytes of videos and photos and images transferred off of this device and onto another. He would, weeks later, get a second mobile phone as well. All right. Patrick Bryant seemed to have certain fetishes of the women he cataloged. In the evidence I uncovered, there were some common...
I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to take this is just a wild, I've not watched this before, right? But she's like, he had a common fetish of women. Now, she's one of those women, right? So she's not going to say, he liked them a bit lumpy. She's going to say probably something like, the breasts were supple, tanned, really, maybe cougars, hotties like this. I don't know. She's going to say something that's going to, it's going to be like a humble brag of some sort like that.
Commonalities. So he like categorized it. He'd even have like a headshot of a woman. He'd have a headshot of a woman. I'll show you an example. He'd have a headshot of a woman.
This is so embarrassing. I'm sorry.
And then next to her headshot, like just from like her Facebook or Instagram or something, this is a woman in a glitzy dress. He'd have a picture of a woman and they would have all these files saved next to the headshot, almost as if he didn't want to forget who that genital part belonged to.
Yeah, good
and
point.
So on this one particular camera that I was filmed on, I'm going to show you a series of photos of other women. I have blocked out the women's bodies to not identify them. This particular woman was changing, her arms were spread out, but you could see her upper torso and the bottom of her torso from the front as she was changing on this, quote, camera. He saved that one for years.
Must have been good. I'm assuming here that this is a, but then why is he not prosecuted for doing this? If it's a property that people are renting and they're coming, or is he dating these women? I don't know. These are the questions. Do it, be squirting.
This next image is similar to the one of me behind me. This is another woman I was unable to identify, and we're keeping her covered up, but she was fully nude in front of this camera. He saved this video of this.
Why are these bitches all walking around this place nude all the time? I mean, does that happen? I don't know. I guess we have kids, so we don't do that anymore. Even though the kids are gone this weekend, it just kind of doesn't happen. But you're your ladies, or your ladies out there, you're just walking around nude. I got a hotel. I'm just gonna prance around nude all the time. I don't know.
This woman naked walking around.
Not saying anything wrong with that. I like how the one she just has up constantly behind her is her. Oh.
One of the things that he would do in front of this hidden camera, this is him in the center of the shot. He would place women. One of the common things I saw in these videos, many videos, is he would put women in the middle of this area where this hidden camera was, and they would perform, there would be sexual acts that would be performed.
Oh, okay. It's his house. Okay. I don't know. Then, I mean, did he rape you? Did you have it on camera?
These women did not know they were being filmed.
Yeah, that sucks.
I have spoken to at least 2 potential victims. One was definitely a victim because I saw the tapes. But I've spoken to at least 2 potential victims
She's like, I watched
saw
it. He
this
had it
camera. And they
now, I wonder if any of this is the fact that she found out and then she's like, oh, this dude wasn't just faithful to me. Is that what it is?
asked him if they were being filmed, and Patrick Bryant said no.
Oh.
And so he would place women in the center field of the camera, and sexual acts would be performed. He would also place women on a certain piece of furniture.
Yeah, let's go. Was it like a... If it has stirrups, if this piece of furniture has stirrups, he's a legend. It's like a lazy boy.
On this couch back here, he would place women where I'm pointing my finger. He would place them facing out so they'd be toward the center of the camera.
I can't believe this is on.
And that you would be able to see their bodies as they were engaged in sexual activity. And he would save these videos for years.
He's an archivist. What do you want me to do?
He had a fetish with photographing women who were naked at the end of his bed. I covered up the woman from the top. You can see her legs spread here as she's walking out after activity in his bedroom. She has no idea that she's being filmed. This one was with his...
I don't know. So here's and I'm sure this isn't my area of law, okay? And I get it, but it's his house. Now, what is he doing with these? She came upon them. He was filming them for his own purposes. Is that illegal to do? I don't know. There's probably a consent law, and California would definitely have something like that. But it does seem a bit activity, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. I didn't expect to play this much. This is fascinating to me.
And so he had a fetish with a photo of a naked woman at the end of his bed who didn't know they were being filmed.
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, look at this. That's his legs. How do you not see that he has it's obviously coming, otherwise he would be in the picture. He's obviously holding a camera or his phone. I don't know that it's obvious that they weren't being filmed. I'm sorry, people. I feel bad for these women, I guess. Maybe don't date crazy. Don't go out and just, have one-night stands. That's maybe one way to avoid this kind of situation. However, you don't, you want... What she's doing, though, is the embarrassing part here. But let's keep going. Oh, wait, what's going on?
Where another woman, her shoulders here, I identified this victim. I was able to identify several victims. I don't know if she's been informed by law enforcement that she was also filmed and photographed naked. I don't know if she consented or not, but she's, again, there were photo after photo of...
Get another one, Nancy. Come on, what do you got?
He had a habit of filming female employees or photographing them, and also the wife and or wives of male employees. This particular victim, it looks like she might be on a zip line. I also identified her. He had several images of her taken on an Olympus digital camera, and these are what I would describe as upskirt shots, and her genital area is exposed underneath.
Let's just be really serious about this. Let's break this one down. If you guys can see us fine. She's doing a zip line. I'm assuming because it's blacked out and she said upskirt that she's wearing a skirt, okay? And so then he's taking if you're doing a zip line in a skirt, I don't know who was in grade school and would stand over there, the girl's on a swing and she has her dress on. I mean, there's some problems, okay? You teach your kids not to do that kind of stuff, perhaps. This is an adult on a zip line getting it up skirt. Is that really what's going on here? Let's just say maybe she's just categorizing it like that. Maybe she has a swimsuit on. Maybe she has shorts on, okay? And you're going to go by. My eyes can see it. And I have there's no expectation of privacy if you're doing a zip line. So fuck you. You can take, this is not an illegal activity. If she's trying to make this illegal, that's going to be really.
I was able to identify this victim based on a public post she had on Instagram. And so I've covered up what she's even wearing in this one. He kept these upskirt photos of this victim for almost 10 years. And he had several upskirt photos from this family vacation at Callaway Gardens, almost a decade. Here's another one when she's completely spread eagle. And he took again, this isn't just another example from the same woman on the same trip, that he took of her vaginal area, her genital area, as she's on some sort of, I don't know, looks like maybe a zip line or something, I'm not sure. And he kept this image for almost a decade.
I mean, we're not gonna say this guy is not creepy, right? I mean, he's creepy, but so is she. Let's be honest here.
I was given permission to show this photo today from this victim. This is one of the rape victims that I discussed in my February 10th floor speech. And she roofied, we don't know. Man named was premeditated. Osborne.
I'm just going to skip through this because I'm kind of annoyed.
For victims over the last year and a half, Patrick Bryant had allegedly raped at least 3 women. See, there's a line historically between criminals that are, if you're a peeping Tom, then you graduate to voyeurism, then you graduate to rape.
I'm not going to hear her TED talk on this. Okay, so here's the question that we have, which is, how does she get away with doing this? Well, there's a governmental immunity, and we've talked about defamation before, and governmental immunity for defamation varies depending on the context and type of government official involved. Members of Congress have absolute immunity for statements made during legislative functions, meaning they cannot be sued for defamation for such statements. The immunity applies to statements made on the floor of Congress and does not extend to campaign speeches or other non-legislative activities. For other government employees, qualified immunity, blah, blah, blah. There you go. That's one of the reasons why and how she gets away with that. If, in fact, it's not the slippery slope of peeping. Yeah, so she went a little over the top with that. I don't know what to tell you other than if she actually had some proof of this. Now, should we, let's do this. Look, maybe we should let's try Grok. Let's try Grok and say, Grok, did Patrick Bryan rape Nancy Mace? Okay, let's see if it comes up with anything here. Let's just take a look here. Nancy Mace has accused her former fiance of rape, physical abuse, and recording non-consensual acts involving her and other women. These allegations were first made publicly during a February 2025 House floor speech and reiterated on May 2025 House Oversight Committee subcommittee hearing where Mace displayed a nude photo she claimed to take it without. So, I mean, that's her fiance. That's okay. Let's keep going. Hidden camera. Her further stated that on X that Bryant filmed and stored explicit images. She's also claimed to have turned over to law enforcement. Patrick Bryan has consistently denied these allegations, calling them false and outrageous in statements to multiple outlets. He has stated he has never raped anyone, used hidden cameras, or harmed any women. Okay, well, I don't know about never used the hidden cameras, buddy. Maybe he's got, maybe it's the facility. And pledged to cooperate fully with any legal process to clear his name. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, we talked, hey, our buddy in here, Magoo, we know all about SLED. They did the investigation on the Murdaugh murder. Confirmed in February 25 that it is investigating Bryant for allegations of assault, harassment, and voyeurism. But no charges have been reported to the latest available information. There is no publicly available evidence Confirming Nance's allegations as the investigation is ongoing, CNN has noted the existence of videos, but has not reviewed their contents. Bryant's ex-wife has publicly defended him. And one of his associates, Brian Musgrave, also accused by Mace, has denied the claims and filed a defamation lawsuit against her. There you go. Without conclusive evidence or legal ruling, the allegations remain unproven. Given the serious nature of the claims and the ongoing investigation, it's crucial to approach... Okay, we don't care about Grok's warning there. There you go. So there is a Jello. Yes, what's up, Death? There is a defamation lawsuit pending. Okay, let's get right into some of this stuff. If you don't know, Jake Tapper has come out with a book. I think it's called Original Sin, which, by the way, I think is also the same name as the precursor now of the murder TV show Dexter. Okay, so anyway, he comes out with a book, and it's about Biden. Biden now has, prostate cancer, which no one knew about until it just happened. If you listen to any doctors, pontificate about this, they're like, well, no, especially when it gets to the bone, that's something you've had and known about for a long time. So the media sucks, the Biden administration sucks, but Jake Tapper also sucks. Okay, he's coming out with this tell-all book, but what was he saying about Biden? And I'm sorry, I was saying this for the first election, when he got elected, not when he was going to run again and then, had to bail out. At the time, I'm like, his family is duplicitous in this. At the time, my father-in-law had, fallen and had some, going through some mental problems. Dementia. He was getting dementia, and I'm like, he was just kind of where Biden was, and I'm like, I would never, as a family member, even put my father-in-law in this position. That they're the evil ones, actually, because at some point he's a problem too, because he is, he's there just enough, but they're problematic for pushing him, and as the whole DNC is. But so is this Jake Tapper. Let's take a listen back here a few years ago.
You made this comment earlier in the campaign about Joe Biden. Let's take a listen to that.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make
Yeah, I forgot. He had a stutter that made him go fall downstairs and do all this nonsensical stuff. Yeah.
Comment like that.
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have no. That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
Diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked about a cognitive decline.
Okay, so that was a few years ago. Okay, I just want you to understand that was the first time when they were going through this whole thing. I think the first, the 2020 election, and that was the stance of Jake. So many of them remember people. This came out, it was like the stutter, and you're just like, well, wait, what? He's sleepy Joe Biden, but he's not a stutter. Here's now Jake Tapper currently, and we'll play this here.
So you use the term. Let's go on to this. The cover up. Define cover up.
I think that the way that we define cover up is the Biden that was on that debate stage. It was not the first time that Joe Biden appeared. And over the course of the 9 months preceding it, you had an increasingly hectic efforts to try to hide the extent of the decline from the American people.
By the way, I'd stutter if I was shitting my pants. I will say this, playing pickleball this morning, that first 30 minutes, it was close. It was close. And I'm like, I'm at this park. I'm not going to be using these facilities.
Orders from members
I was
of the
stuttering
Democratic
a bit.
Party, from members of their own cabinet.
Literal hiding in a kind of way.
Yeah,
like he's not going to go do this. He's not going to go do that.
Right,
Yes.
and we're not going to let him meet with these cabinet officials, and we're not going to let him meet with these White House staffers, or we're not going to, or when he does an event with donors, when he does a fundraiser, just 40 people, we're going to put a teleprompter in the back of the room so he can speak. Even though that's something that any politician should be able to do without a teleprompter. That cover-up is defined as hiding something bad. That's what's happened. We're not alleging criminality. You're allowed to lie to the American people. That's not a crime. Politicians have been doing that since this country was founded.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Who was all involved in the cover-up? He at no point includes himself. I'm sorry, there were interviews. Remember, the election was during COVID, and so, you know, he was able to do all the, there were interviews where he was reading the teleprompter, the cues on there, okay? This was obvious that was going on. I think there was another one where it showed like reflection in someone's glasses. You can see it for interviews that he's doing via a Zoom or however he's, you know, closed, he's got his closed circuit or whatever between them. It was obvious this happening, and this guy covered it up because he didn't make a big deal about it, and it was obvious to everybody at the time. So Jake Tapper is part of this cover up, as the news media was. Okay, so there you go with that one, and then we're gonna do one more comparison, a side by side of a 2023 and a 2025 of Jake Tapper. Play it away, Tyler. Okay.
Evidence to support the allegation my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen. There's no fairness or decency in what these Republicans are doing. And I do have to say, whatever you think of Hunter Biden, and there's certainly a lot of people in this town, Democrats and Republicans, that do not think a lot of him, there is a certain kind of like cruelty to the campaign against him. Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter?
Hunter was driving the decision making for the family in a way that people, he was almost like a chief of staff of the family.
Does that strike you as pretty bizarre?
It's bizarre because I think he is provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions. I mean,
tell me how you really feel.
Well, I mean, just look at the record. I mean, after his brother died, he cheated on his wife with his brother's widow and then got her addicted to crack. That's just one thing I could say. I mean, I don't have a lot of personal regard for
evidence to support the.
Okay, so that's nice now after the fact, right? It's crazy that, you know, he's in the news media and they pull clips up all the time to use against, you know, a politician or whomever. Yet he doesn't think that it could be done against him. It's bizarre, really bizarre. Okay, so those are some Jake Tapper, but here's some other people. Some other people getting flummoxed by this whole situation. Here we go, another mental retard.
Separation between the two parts of the job, you know, the decision-making component of the job and the communication slash persuasion component of the job. Yes, the decision-making component of the job is important, and I think, as I said when I was talking to Jake, and as I said, you know, I think some years before when we were all talking about, you know, Biden being compromised. It's at least intelligible to say, okay, he's not a good communicator. He was never a good communicator. He's only getting worse.
Okay, that is very true. When he ran, you know, the sideshow for Obama, he was a gaffe machine. Way back then, remember when he ran for president himself, even before coming in as a VP for Obama, he had plagiarized, right, a whole section of a speech, and so he got run out of the presidency running at that time because he was pretty much a wanker. And if you've watched but he was much more his clarity. If you've ever watched any of these debates and whatnot, he's a piece of shit and he makes gaffes, but he was at least much more assembled than he was, you know, in the latter part. And if these people think somehow, once again, didn't have the ability to roll tape and go back and see this, everybody knew it. So what Sam's saying here is a bit disingenuous, but let's back it up 5 seconds and go.
Never a good communicator. He's only getting worse, right? You can't reliably stick him in front of a microphone and trust that something good is going to come out of his mouth. But the truth is that when you sit with him and deliberate about the war in Ukraine or anything else, he is compos mentis.
No one was thinking that. The news would tell you that, and then you'd watch an interview of him talking about and you'd be like, well, he's not competent on this. He's not. Matter of fact, he's more like this. He's more like this, Joe, bending down to pick up a daisy or whatnot.
He clearly understands the issue as well as he ever did. He just doesn't. He's just not a fluid speaker, right? And less and less.
You know what? In their defense, maybe it was as well as he ever did. Okay, he wasn't a smart guy ever.
Fluid by the hour, right? That is neurologically speaking, that is an intelligible claim to make about a person. That's what I assumed was true. Because of how effective this cover-up was, I no longer believe that to have been true. Right? I think it's quite possible that he was just checked out to a degree that I did not suspect at the time.
I'm sorry. These people are ridiculous. Was there a cover-up? Yeah, but it was obvious. Everybody knew it, okay? And the media kept pushing it. And remember, after that one debate, before that, there was deep fakes, and then there were, they had another word for it, which was they would show Biden, and they're like, well, that's like an out-of-context fake type of thing. And it's like, what? Remember there was a thing, was it at Normandy or something, where they're watching, and he's over there, and the staffer has to get him and bring him back. If you thought at that point that and a cover up, a massive, it was so diabolical. No one could have gotten through it. Jake Tapper got to the bottom of that one. It's like, oh, okay. Everybody got to the bottom of that one. It's pretty cheap fakes. Thank you, Magoo. That's my man, Magoo over there. Appreciate that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about here, and I think we'll probably end on this one, but I got a few clips to play on this one too, which is these two Jewish, two Israeli embassy staffers. Here we go. I'll just bring up the browser. Staffers shot dead outside DC's Capitol Jewish Museum. Okay. Is this a false flag event? We talked about this before. There was the Harvard breakdown of anti-Semitism on campus and the incidence of anti-Semitism. And they're like, oh, it's right. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to play a report here where they say 900% it's gone up. Okay. It all depends on how you quantify an anti-Semitic event. Okay. And, since they want something big to happen. So is this something where it was? I tend to believe that it might have been somewhat of a legit shooting, as far as what I don't mean like, oh, it's a legit kill. I mean, like, this was probably a little bit of a craziness, but those things happen, right? We've all seen that. So let's play this clip here, this news break, and let's go from there.
Tonight, the Trump administration escalating its battle with Harvard University, barring the school from enrolling foreign.
That's not the one I wanted to see. Okay, let's do this. They had it up here before. Let's see if, there we go.
Lit around 9 last night.
Response 1, active shooter 30, African Frontside Street Northwest.
A group of people leaving a young diplomat's reception at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington when a gunman opened fire. 26-year-old Sarah Milgram and her partner, 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky, both diplomatic staff at the Israeli embassy, were killed. Tonight, it's being investigated as a targeted terror attack.
The tragic murder of these two Israeli embassy employees outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum last night was both an act of terror and directed violence against the Jewish community, and it has the full and unwavering attention of the FBI.
The alleged gunman, 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez, shouted, "Free Palestine," as he was taken into police custody.
Free Palestine!
He's now facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder and murder of foreign officials. Today, the FBI is searching his Chicago apartment.
Violence against anyone based on their religion is an act of cowardice.
President Trump posting, "Hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA." Witnesses say it was a rainy night, and after firing the shots, the alleged gunman rushed into the museum.
All of a sudden, we start hearing what sounds like gunshots.
The people inside had no idea what he had allegedly done and offered him a glass of water.
We're just thinking he's a witness,
Nice.
frazzled, and trying to comfort him.
When did you realize that he wasn't just a witness, that he was involved?
I would say it was about 10 minutes later when he started yelling to the entire museum, "I did it. Free Palestine, I did it for Gaza."
Tonight, Israel's prime minister speaking out.
The terrorists who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews. And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October 7th.
The attack comes amid an alarming rise in
Okay, might want to look into why they're chanting that then.
Anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S.
And by the way, did he know they were Jews?
Soaring nearly 900% in the last decade.
There you go.
Meanwhile, we're learning more about the two victims.
We had perfect children. No problems. And not between parents.
can say that.
In 2017, Sarah Milgram spoke to our station in Kansas City when her high school was vandalized with anti-Semitic graffiti.
I worry about going to my synagogue, and I have to worry about safety at school, and that shouldn't be a thing.
Sarah's dad telling us he only found out last night that Yaron was going to propose.
Yaron had bought an engagement ring for Sarah and planned on giving it to her when they were in Jerusalem, about a week or two from now, which we did not know. So it was the best of times and the worst of times.
Aaron joining us now. Aaron, police were out there at the site of the shooting most of the day.
Mostly for security, Lester, as the investigation continues. We know they recovered a handgun and 21 spent shell casings here on the ground outside the museum. Meanwhile, there is a vigil tonight to remember the two victims. Lester?
Okay, Aaron, thank you. Let's bring in Tom Winter now in the investigation into the suspect. Tom, what have you learned?
Well, Lester, we have new details on the weapon tonight. Court documents allege Rodriguez bought the gun in Illinois in 2020 and brought it to D.C. in his checked luggage. On Tuesday, the FBI is also investigating online writings, possibly from Rodriguez, saying he carried out
Okay, it does look like Hassan Piker,
this
right?
attack because of his views on the Israel-Hamas war. They're now combing through his phone and reaching out to his family. Meanwhile, officials in Washington say they're ramping up their police presence at public gatherings citywide. Here in New York, highly trained teams of heavily armored police are now deployed to many Jewish institutions. Lester?
All right.
Okay, it's for me, it's a lot like any of these incidences where you're just like, oh, these lone wackos that really blow it out for everybody else. Because when you watch that video and they talked to her back then and there was anti-Semitic, it really makes me fearful to go to my synagogue. I tend to think, and especially in the averages, that is lunacy to feel. Fuck, then it happens to her. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't like to see that with anybody. Matter of fact, this guy is no different than Mangione. I'm not a fan of just going out and willy-nilly killing people. Nancy Mace isn't even doing that to her rapist. So, we've got some standards here. But when I've watched stuff on the ADL and they talk about anti-Semitism, it's typical stuff. It's very similar to what we saw where it's like a cover of a microscope in a college laboratory. And someone sees this through the window and it's white and they're like, oh my God, it was a KKK hood. And now I'm like just freaked out. And I'm like, okay, well, so what was that? It's not true. What was that anti-Semitic graffiti in your school that made you so fearful? Okay. But then you go and work for Israel. Okay. So you go and work for Israel. In this day and age, should you be doing that and just walking around and acting like nothing's going to happen? That might be a problem. JR says, how many Joe Bidens do you think there were? That is a very good question. One, I don't know that I can actually. Hassan was just banned off Twitch, by the way. Like they had a baby. Okay. They banned him 8,700 times, so he'll be back. Yeah. Everyone that works on the Twitch is full on board with his ideology. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I'm not following much along with him. But how many Joe Bidens? That I don't know. That I do not know. More than one, I suspect, though, Joe. Okay, so this stuff happens, right? And just like the right pushes back when there's gun violence. And they say, oh, you shouldn't ban the gun. It's the person that you should be banning. But now you need to ban the speech. So let's take a look here and see what the ADL is saying about this. And here we go. This is Goldenberg, ADL's David Goldenberg. Okay, let's see what he says here about this. This is 2 minutes. Actually, I want to maybe put the speed up just a tad bit because I don't really. Okay, there we go.
I can speak specifically from an ADL perspective.
Well, this
ADL
is
Center for Technology and Society has done significant studies in the responsiveness of tech platforms, and we've actually graded them on the responsiveness of anti-Semitism, Holocaust denial, other forms of hate. You have a platform like Meta that just gutted its entire fact-checking department, and they're moving away from it. And so what we need to do is we need to apply pressure in a real significant way on tech platforms that they have a responsibility that they have an absolute responsibility to check and remove hateful speech that is insightful, not insightful with an S, but insightful with a C, right? And so we need to do that. Congress, there's a role for federal regulators to play, and there's also a role that states can even play too. And we've seen that in places like California and others. You hold them accountable. Like right now, tech platforms are not accountable for having misinformation. Was it Section 230 of the National Communications Act, or the Federal Communications Act? Congress needs to amend Section 230, which provides immunity to tech platforms right now for what happens. Right? If you listen to what Mark Zuckerberg said, for example, when he testified before Congress, he was like, listen, if you called 20 years ago or 30 years ago, if you called somebody to issue a bomb threat, you didn't sue the bells. They were just the platform through which, the conduit through which, or the platform through which, the person made the threat. I'm not responsible for the threat, right? These tech platforms are not guaranteed under the Constitution. They're just not. They're private companies. They can use their user agreements to kick people off, to deplatform. They did. And then we've seen in the last few years when Elon Musk bought X, right, the deplatforming of people. You saw Facebook and Meta that changed their policies, right, the replatforming of people, right? So Congress could amend that act and actually hold tech platforms accountable. And I guarantee you, look what's happening right now on college campuses. Universities are being held accountable for the anti-Semitism on campus. And what are they doing? They're changing. Accountability is a tool that can be incredibly effective in changing behavior.
Okay, what I want to talk about is, oh shit, I just deleted the tab I actually wanted to have open. So I'm going to go back to it, see if I can find it here. Because I want to talk about what, he just mentioned hate speech, right? And we got to be careful as to what hate speech is. Let's see if I could find it. Where is it? Oh, I think there we go. Okay, let's read the easy there, Benjamin. I want to play this clip here. This is kind of like, is this stuff that should be banned off Twitter? Perhaps it should be. Let's play this.
Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler.
Okay, that is that is going to probably be, these people are crazy. So let's keep going here. Let's play another ADL thing. Jonah Goldblatt, and what is he saying? Probably much of the same stuff, because these people, when I say these people, I'm talking about the dictator types. They can't help but tell everyone how to believe.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
I'm sorry, but this incident with these poor kids that got killed is kind of like the ADL's wet dream. I really believe that, because they're loving it. They're going to push this. But, there's other things that are said on Twitter here. And I'm just going to see if I could even just scroll down through some of my bookmarks to see some of the stuff. Okay, so this is the kind of shit, though, when they say, oh, there's hate going on Twitter. We really need to combat that. Okay, well, I don't know what this guy's saying, but let's take a listen.
Children are your enemies? They are our enemies. Israel, until now, has more protection of human life and children in Gaza than every...
These children are dying of hunger because you have not been allowing aid in. This is extreme.
They are not dying of hunger, and in any conflict that England was involved in the past, in this kind of environment, there were more innocent civilians killed and suffering hunger and everything else.
Mr. Smotrich, your leader, has said that the people of Gaza should leave, that the aim is to get them to leave.
It's a combat zone. When there is a combat zone, when there is a terrorist organization who is hiding behind civilians, you should let them run away. And if you are blocking them, you're aiding and abetting a terrorist organization, using them as human shields. That's not a moral thing to do. And if the United Kingdom want to be a humanitarian country that cares about human rights and human lives, they would help the Gazans who wants to leave the area leave and not aid Hamas to use them as human shields.
I've got an idea. Why don't you let them come over the border into Israel? Why don't they flee into Israel?
Because they are our enemies. Because they are
the children are your enemies?
They are our enemies. And according to international treaties about refugees in the time of war, you don't let them conquer your country with refugees.
Okay, that's by the way, that's very interesting, because if you've talked, we went back about this before, which is, what is the status of the people in Gaza? Now, some people say it's not a country, so Israel has not been able to declare war on Gaza or the West Bank because they are not a sovereign country. So they are an occupied territory, so you have to treat them a little different. So when you say, and by the way, you're going to be like, oh, you're pro-Hamas. No, I'm not a fan of either situation here. I'm just trying to give some context here, and to maybe understand why there's a guy freaking out, and a mentally ill person going and shooting two young Israeli agents in downtown New York or DC, right? Which is it's an occupied area, and when you say they need to leave, where are they going? Where do you think they can go? They are stuck in this area. So they can't. They literally can't do that. Okay. So I also think, though, let's see. I thought this was actually somewhat interesting here, which is this is Justin Amash posted this up about his message from his cousins in Gaza. They're Christians, and they say, I say it frankly, we can no longer live. Help and save the people of Gaza. There's no food, flour, Flour, by the way, no clean water, no medicine for treatment, no hospitals. As I've mentioned, this is him now, Justin, my cousins in Gaza are Orthodox Christians. They are not belligerents, yet they and about 2 million Palestinians have endured a year and a half of relentless bombardment, physical and psychological trauma, and extreme food and water shortages. They are weak, tired, sick, injured, hungry, and thirsty. Many are elderly or young children. They have no control over the situation. Everyone knows multiple persons who have been killed in my own family. Several of my cousins were killed in October 2023, when an Israeli strike destroyed part of the church complex in which they were sheltering. Remember, there were bombs under that church. That's why the IDF did it. That's what we've been told by many people. But yet there were Christians in this place trying to seek shelter. Please pray for the innocents in this catastrophe, whether Jewish, Christian, Muslim, or otherwise Israeli or Palestinian. Please pray for all the parties involved, including the United States. Choose peace and humanity instead of more death and destruction. Okay, so that's also some kind of shit that's being posted on Twitter. Do I have any other good posts here about people saying nasty stuff? Joel Goldblatt. Okay, here's another one. Here's some here's some death and destruction. This is let's play this here.
What I'm getting at here is that it is 100% true that at the heart of communism, at the heart of replacement migration is the Jewish lobby, and they see a divide and conquer strategy to do that in the culture. The globalists in general, Larry Fink, all of it, are threatened by the West and others adopting that idea, because then it doesn't give them a global plantation. But then you got the Chi-Coms and others funding that. They see that as well. They see the West, as you just defined
I'm really
it,
not interested
there.
in what these two people say, but I was interested to see the rubble there. That is, now let's talk about this guy. This is this guy, Randy Fine. He's one of the most disgusting people physically and mentally. And here's what he has to say about the shooting.
The fact of the matter is the Palestinian cause is an evil one.
Yeah, and Congressman, there is a ceasefire deal on the table right now that the White House is hoping both Israel and Hamas will sign on to. Does this shooting change anything when it comes to the course of the war or the negotiations to end it?
Well, I think it speaks to the importance of the only end of the conflict is complete and total surrender by those who support Muslim terror. In World War II, we did not negotiate a surrender with the Nazis. We did not negotiate a surrender with the Japanese. We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture, and it needs to be defeated.
Okay, when he says we, I know he's a congressman. I don't think he's an actual American. I mean, his allegiance is not to the American people. I would attest to that, quite honestly. This is just one more, I think, that was actually somewhat funny. Let's play this here and watch this.
I don't remember who tweeted. Someone tweeted something like, if you're an American patriot, it means you're pro-Israel, or something like that. Yeah. This idea that, like, it is your patriotic duty to have this particular feeling about another country, no matter what the other country is. I don't care what country it is. So that goes too far.
I do think that there is something patriotic about supporting our allies, because
We form alliances because it's in our national interest to form alliances. And having formed those alliances and
yeah, but you don't have a you don't have a patriotic duty to support any country that is not your own.
But you know, in this case, we just should back Israel.
but no second.
Oh God, I don't know how Matt Walsh does it. Honestly, a bunch of these guys. I will play one more clip here, which I think I'm going to find. It is, see if I could find it here. There we go. Matt, I know Dave Smith played this one, and I'm not going to play the whole thing at all because it's 3 minutes, but I will play the beginning part of it here because once again, all these people are very intelligent. They think they are, and there's a lot of neat stuff going on around there. But you can't, you have to understand who these parties are once again. Okay. This is not Iran versus Israel. This is Israel versus an occupied territory within their borders. Let's take it away.
I have yet to hear anyone make a persuasive argument that the state of Israel is not justified in going to war against Gaza.
They're not going to war against Gaza because they can't. They can't declare war because, once again, Gaza is not a sovereign territory.
And even in continuing the war against Gaza. I sort of wish they wouldn't because I care about this more from the American national interest. And the longer this war goes on, the more volatility is created and the greater the risk of the United States being dragged into a war. So from the American perspective, I would kind of like the war to wrap up. But from the Israeli perspective, can someone please explain to me how the war is not justified? That Gaza invaded on October 7th.
Okay, I'm not going to play any more there because you can't start on October 7th. So we just have to move on. I'm sorry, we just have to move on from there. Let's see if I could get some of these things. I second your motion to remove Randy's citizenship. Thank you. Matt Walsh, ready to tweet Jesus is king. Right. Being pro-America has nothing to do with Israel, but Israel has been an important ally in the region, particularly in testing practical use of defense equipment like the Iron Dome. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I think they've gotten us into much more foreign and entanglements than otherwise necessary. So I don't know what you mean. You mean like we're a good ally to them? Sure. What are they doing on our behalf? There was a gentleman that was spying on us, stealing secrets. Okay. I don't know that that's what I would say, but teach their own. Let's look at one last thing here, which is the Harvard situation. I haven't dug into this on the legal aspects. I think it's going to be overturned. Matter of fact, there's probably some rulings already about it because I just don't think it's going to be practical. And what I want to understand is if you're Israeli, let's say you have a dual citizenship, would I mean, why are all these bitches like this? Nancy Mace, Kristi Noem, they're like these Barbie doll wannabe politicians. It's so weird. But anyway, Noem's going to talk here a little bit about the Harvard. If you're foreign students, they want you to not have them. Does that include Israeli students?
So as you mentioned, 18% of Harvard's freshman class this year are foreign. They're foreigners here on student visas. What happens? Where do they go now? What do they do?
Yeah, we have given Harvard multiple opportunities to give us the documentation that we've requested to conduct oversight. We've asked them for the backgrounds on students that attend their university, their criminal activity on campus, off of campus, any video or audio footage they have of this violent activity, and they have just simply not complied. This is something that...
I'm going to walk through this here. Violent activity. So this is a problem here, which is, and there's a study, I have it in here, I'm not going to go through it, but a group behind Project 2025 has a plan to crush the pro-Palestinian movement. Okay, so there was a breakdown here of the Heritage Foundation dispatched a team to Israel to meet with power players in Israeli politics, including the country's foreign and defense secretaries and U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee. The conservative Washington-based think tank is best known for spearheading Project 2025, a proposed blueprint for President Trump's second term called for reshaping the federal government and extreme expansion of presidential power. Now, the Heritage contingent was in Israel, in part to discuss another contentious policy paper, Project Esther, the foundation's proposal to rapidly dismantle the pro-Palestinian movement in the United States, along with its support at schools and universities, at progressive organizations, and in Congress. The draft in the wake of Hamas's attack on Israel in 2023 and the mounting protests against the war in Gaza, Project Esther outlined an ambitious plan to fight anti-Semitism by branding a broad range of critics of Israel as effectively a terrorist support network. So the study goes on. You could the article. You can go on there. Glenn Greenwald linked a free copy for you to go and check out. My point there is, it's the disparagement of parties and just what Kristi Noem is actually doing here herself. Okay, she's very aware. Well, I think it just deleted the tab. I want to keep open. She's very well aware of what she's doing, which is to it's criminal activity or it's terrorist activity or it's violent activity. You could just be a little bit more subversive. You're like, oh, violent activity. Well, what are they doing? They're calling for, maybe they're saying free Palestine or whatever it is. That in itself is not being fair play, okay? And so, I just want to emphasize, I don't give a fuck about Harvard, okay? These are privileged kids going to this school. I don't care about it, and I wish the U.S. government would stop caring about it as well. One, don't give them money, okay? You can stop that. Just stop giving money to these schools, and then we'll be done with that, and the schools can deal with it as their own. There's a huge endowment, billions of dollars of an endowment there at Harvard. They can take care of themselves, and people will go to that school, and you can do whatever you want. But the government pushing their neck in there is because these schools are allowed to do so because they get the federal funding, and there you have it. But once again, remember that her name was Gay. She was the president of Harvard College, and she got kicked out basically for plagiarizing. But it wasn't about plagiarism. That never would have come about if she had been on the right side of this Israel thing. She just didn't take that side very strongly. So the right wing, the Chris Rufo or one of those, came after her, and he found she was a snake. She was a piece of shit. I get it. But the real reason she was kicked out had nothing to do with the plagiarism. That was an excuse to get her out. Now, last thing I'm going to show here. This is off of X. Let's use this one. This guy wrote, "Free Palestine should be as taboo as the N-word." And yours truly put the irony of you wanting the word free thought of as taboo. And there you go. Ban Photoshop. Agree with me, or you're the worst person I can think of. Smart. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Because you're saying it. I'd agree that Israel is not the best intelligence partner. Israel had a hand in the development of Stuxnet, also pushed its use. Okay? They're mostly just going to be kids of diplomats. In Harvard, could be. Anyway, I'm even happy for the Hasbro guys that show up in the chat. Appreciate you all here. I think that's all we had today. It's a little warm in my office here. Did I have anything else? Oh yeah, body cam. We'll get to this real quick. Nick Rekieta, body cam footage. Let's go here. So body cam footage. Jersh expects to have footage within 2 weeks. They have done everything required, and it's been promised to them if they don't provide the footage in 2 weeks, there will be a lawsuit. And with that, I do have a short
People
little
are
segment
interested
here.
in the best part of the streams, obviously, to many people.
My heart is like an open highway. Like Frankie said, I did it.
Get to it. Sorry, I'm gonna fast forward here.
I just wanna live.
And his household up High County. Every single thing we have received. I don't want to be too. I don't want to say too much because I know that Rekieta is paying close attention and is deeply concerned. Developments have happened, which paved the way for the body cam footage to be released. If the body cam footage is not released, then I will sue. So that's it. There is no reason for it not to be released at this point. We've squared away everything, and the only thing holding us back is the sheriff's office actually.
By the way, this is a good point here, but I think they dislike the word free more than any other word. It depends which side they're on, right? But I get what you're saying there. I was trying to make a cheap joke here, and it's done fairly well on Twitter. I got some numbers on that, but yes, you're right. I get it.
Fucking doing it. If the sheriff's office does not fucking do it, and does not make good on what is basically promised to us at this point, we have no choice but to sue, and we have the eager legal representatives required to handle such a lawsuit. So it's coming, regardless. It's happening for sure. Expect it.
Okay, there we go. So we're going to get some footage, I imagine. My only question was, and I asked this to Sean, was if there's not and there's a conviction and a plea deal, and it's deferred. And so does that still count as them having to release the footage? I guess so. So these guys are saying that we should have it. So hopefully we'll have this. Curtis says, thanks for the weekend. Thanks for the show. Have a great weekend. You too, guys. I don't think I'll do another one. Monday, I'm going to take the day off. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to go golfing again. So I'm back in the mode there. Love it. I hope everyone has a good time. Let's see. Let's get some good outro music here. Take care. Have a good weekend. Happy Memorial Day. I hope you get some all those deals you've been looking for. Ready, out.
Okay, I'm leaving now, by the way.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any like knowledge of the real world of what happens, we walk into Tim Katz's studio, immediately there's 4 Jewish lawyers.
King of the Druids!
Oh, that's all we needed. A Jewish princess.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't expect the normies like Tyler to understand these kind of things. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in like rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
This guy's, I wouldn't say he's full of shit, but I'd say he's stupid. Whatever, if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat now, I wouldn't pay attention to anything he says anyway. But
more or less, eat shit and die.
Don't ever come to the top left, sir. He will end you. Do you see what he just did to Tyler? Just fucking challenge this
Tyler's
entire
done.
Top is a maniac.
He can't even reply right now because he's crippled.
He's got nothing to say.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?